do this. So it's going to be like one of those microphones where you hear stuff and then you don't, and backwards and forwards. So I've got a speech, and I may follow it a bit, I may not. We'll see what happens. Yes, gosh. 90 seconds away, it's not quite sure what that is. And I see you have guest speakers, so I look forward to going there. Listen, I will be brief, because I know how tedious these things can be. I've had a very good day, but a very good afternoon actually. I cut the grass, walked the dog, took the bins out. And for middle-aged bloke, that's really quite an exciting bit of life, frankly. But I'd like that bins, because that's later, and I'll look forward to that this evening. I did have a very good cultural and sporting weekend, apart obviously from the penalty business last night. But I went to see Men in Black 3. Very good villain, if you haven't seen it. I survived my 9-year-old's birthday party and the arsenal of Nerf guns. I survived Dad's camping at my kids' school on Friday. Got my Olympic tickets, that was good. And yesterday I went to watch my older son play for the Blackheath Wanderers under-12s in a football tournament about 500 yards away from the Dartford campus, where I started my training as a landscape architect 32 years ago, when it was, of course, Thames Polytechnic. And that makes me feel, frankly, very old indeed. But imagine how Tom and Robert must feel, because they Dartford keeps drawing me back, so beware of this, those of you that are students. You may find yourself inexplicably drawn back to Elton over the years. In Dartford, I find myself going back there. One of our best jobs, I was in practice, we did the Dartford Football Club Stadium, which was fantastic. Wayne Hemingway said it was the best football stadium built that year, and that was the same year they built the Emirates and Wembley. It was a matter of great pride and pleasure to do that. In fact, I didn't get paid our last check. It's neither here nor there. So, right. I'm president of the Landscape Institute, so that's quite an interesting thing. I've been doing it for 2 years, and I finish on Saturday at midnight. And the Landscape Institute, as I hope everyone here knows, is of course a professional body for landscape architects in the United Kingdom. And whatever you do, never think of it as being them. It is us. We are the Landscape Institute. I just happen to be its president, and it's whatever we want it to be. So those of you who are about to go out and work in the UK as landscape architects, bear this in mind, because you will have a duty, because if you join the Landscape Institute, to further the Landscape Institute and to nurture it, because you are the next generation of people who will take this legacy given to us by the men and women who founded this wonderful profession in 1927. Someone else will know about that too. So, and it's still a wonderful profession, and it's tough, but for young people going out today, it's a really interesting and exciting time. And when I started, we all worked on Sainsbury's supermarkets, and we designed block paving, and that was good. But today, landscape architects, and you are the students here, you're the marketable ones. You're the people who are really entering a really good job market, because you have the energy, you're mobile, you can get about, and you have the skills, and you're thinking about what is interesting. And landscape architects work all over the place. Members are working in India, China, Middle East, again in the Middle East, again in the Middle East, whatever the next war is, they're working in the Middle East. And they're doing fantastic jobs. It's not just about designing nice brickwork details and the next matrix of perennial planting or whatever it is. It's about research, it's about advising governments, it's working on sustainability strategies, planning, conservation, and really working with private developers, governments all over the world. It's a very, very interesting time. And really, the people with the introduction of things like building information modelling systems, the profession I'm glad I'm not in at the moment is engineering, quite frankly, because it's landscape architects who are going to carry on saving the world. So, where does that lead us to? Oh, the Olympics, saving the world. The Olympics, you all know this, don't you, that it was driven by a landscape architect, a whole design strategy for the Olympics driven by Jason Pryor of Edel. The whole thing's being put together by landscape architects, all the fabulous buildings. I had a look around, I got invited, Gardeners Question Time. Would you like to come to listen to the recording of Gardeners Question Time at the Olympics? Yes, I said, that'd be very nice. Not because I'm president of the Landscape Institute, because I'm involved with a little park in Deptford. And Twinkle Park, it's very good. I urge you to go, Tom knows it, and there's a very good pub nearby called the Dog and Bell, and I urge you to go there as well. Where did that take me? Olympics, John Hopkins, I think he's a visiting professor here, is that right? And Phil Askew, the two people who kind of put this together are ex-students of Polytechnic, University of Greenwich. The whole thing, fabulous buildings. We have the Gardeners Question Time in the aquatic centre, and that is staggering, absolutely staggering. But the thing that holds it all together is the park, and that will be the one great legacy of the whole thing, will be the park. And when you go, and I urge you to go, you will see this, and it's utterly fantastic. And landscape architects, we all thought it was going to be stitched up by the Americans, it would be done by engineers and architects. It's not. It's being pulled together by members of this profession. And that, too, is a very good thing. So, to be here this evening, I haven't had a chance to look round. I was a student here for 5 years. I taught here in the 90s for about 5 years. And I now sit on the advisory board to the Dean, of course, who is also an alumni of Thames Polytechnic. And I haven't had a chance to look around, but this is one of the great pleasures of being president of the Landscape Institute, is to get out and to meet people. And I get to go all over the place. The best gig was Zurich, that was great, International Federation. If any of you ever get the chance to go to a European Federation meeting or International Federation meeting, next international one's in South Africa in September, I think, this year, go. Zurich, 1,100 delegates from around the world, from Iran, China, New Zealand, South Africa, 10 from the UK, we think, out of that 1,100. So go, it is fantastic. And there's a big student thing that goes on with it as well. So if some of you are still students, and maybe some of you are going to the student conference as well, Landscape Institute Student Conference in Sheffield, I urge you to go because it is a wonderful, uplifting and inspirational experience. So for me to come here and see this, and I'm going to have a look around, so I've just got here and Robert banged his beer glasses together. Robert as well. It's very good to see this. This university, I have every confidence, has a really exciting future actually. The new campus, the way the courses have developed. And I think this location is quite extraordinary. The opportunity to study in Greenwich is absolutely a wonderful thing to do. Those of you who've been through the course now, you've done a really hard thing, and you just have to be congratulated for doing that, because that is a real challenge, and to have succeeded there is fantastic. And I think all I'm going to finish with is just to say, look, wherever you go, wherever you end up, I wish you well. You've got this far. Keep going and spread the word. And I thank you very much for listening. I hope
It was a really warm introduction. Can I also thank the organising committee? To list their names, I think, would be in videos, but this exhibition has been organised by the student body for the students, and I think we should acknowledge that. And finally, can I also thank our sponsors, Wyvale at the far end, because they do enable the drinks, which are in the bar at this end, to come more economically and more freely and more lavishly than otherwise would be the case. So thank you very much indeed, students. Thank you very much indeed, Wyvale.